What's up guys, Rivendare here. With the Burning Crusade anniversary launching soon, I thought it would be a fun idea to go back and do a Paladin tier set tier list. Now I started my Blood Elf Paladin on January 16th, 2007 when the Burning Crusade originally launched. And I've mained the same character ever since. That's nearly 19 years I've had this character. That's actually insane. He can almost illegally drink now. Now what can be more fun than going back through the years and doing what every good content creator does and boil down my thoughts into a tier list. I'll be going from oldest to newest, and this is purely an aesthetics tier list. I'll be rating them on what I think is the most cool and what is the most Paladin-esque tier vibe to it. So without any further ado, let's get ranking. Alright, so we have the Lawbringer armor from Molten Core. First tier set, tier 1. Now I think for the very first tier set for tier 1, this is definitely has a good Paladin aesthetic to it. I think A tier is a good solid start for the tier list. I think the shoulders are sick. I think the color scheme is very Paladin. They got the gold, got the white, got some spikes, some cool tiers, and really cool stuff going on with the shoulders and stuff. And like I said, this is vanilla, so there's not gonna be a amount of crazy detail in the actual armor pieces themselves, but overall I think it's pretty solid. Now, if we move on to tier 2, baby. Tier 2. Really nothing negative to be said about tier 2. Tier 2 is like the penultimate armor in World of Warcraft. It's one of the most recognizable tier sets that even people outside of World of Warcraft might see and recognize. That's saying a lot. So with that being said, easiest S tier of my life. Easiest S tier of my life. Color palette is insane. Those shoulder pieces are just nuts. I mean, look at this. They have the Librams on the shoulders. It's just an absolutely stunner of a set. You got the swords through the Librams. You got the scales on the spalders. You just got like this awesome, badass, like Holy Judgment Executioner vibe that is pretty much almost impossible to beat in almost any other set in the game. Spoiler, this might be the best set in the game. We're gonna go from there. It's gonna be hard to match this one. Now don't worry, I'm gonna rate the Naxxramas set, the original one. It's gonna be rated the same as the Lich King variant for the first tier of that as well. I'm gonna do that in a second, so I'll do that when I get to the Wrath ones. Now we're gonna move on to our first Burning Crusade set. We have the Justicar's armor from Gruul's Lair. Now overall, this is a decent armor set, and I always thought the helmet looked kind of stupid. Something about it almost looked more like a hunter mail, what's coming off the top. The shoulders are decent, the colors are pretty okay. I like the purple. There's just not a whole lot going on. I would say this one is a solid, this is tough to say. This is a C tier. This is a C tier set. The shoulders are cool, but I think the helmet doesn't really offer anything cool to complement the shoulders. It looks kind of lame. And the colors are okay, nothing's too bright or sticking out. There's nothing else really going on. It looks just like a leveling set at that point, minus the shoulders, so C tier for you. Now the Crystal Forge armor set. This is the Serpentine Caverns, the SSC tier set for the Paladins. I think this one's actually pretty cool, and this is one of the first sets that really adopted the Pally Rangers aesthetic with the helmet. I think the shattered kind of nether crystals on the shoulders shooting off of it is pretty sweet, and I love how it's mirrored in the helmet as well. I never got this set, but I remember getting the PvP variant and just like really wanting those shoulders on my Paladin when I was doing BC PvP. I would say this is I'm gonna put it in the A tier for now. I'm trying to rate these on the time period as well, and obviously they didn't have all the knickknacks that the future sets have, but I think the shoulders and the helmet were really sick back then, and they really added some flair to your character, so I think it'll sit in the A tier as well for now. The original Black Temple set. I always thought this set was extremely sick. I love how huge the shoulders are, and I love that it has a good complement as well in the helmet, which is just like a floating crown. It just absolutely screams Holy Paladin and like divine magic. Also in the shoulders, you just have the light shooting out, just like your body can't contain your holy energy, and it's gonna be shooting out of your shoulders. I mean, look at the spalders on this. You have a sick hammer, and you have another Libram. That screams Pally aesthetic. The rest of it, pretty decent as well. It has these kind of like, obviously the textures weren't as good back then, but like the faux draperies on the sides, and the bell, and all the other stuff going up to the top. And overall, I think it makes for an awesome aesthetic. I was so excited to get this set back then. So I'm gonna put this in the S tier. Boom. Now that brings us to the Naxxramas set as well. Now this one really was the go-go Pally Ranger set for a lot of people. The aesthetic is kind of hilarious on this. I think the shoulders are pretty cool, but the helmet just looks silly as fuck. Like, what is that? It just looks like you're about to go weed whacking. Like, it doesn't really fit anything per se. Even the color aesthetic on the 25 person is just, I don't really, it's different, I'll give it that, but the helmet doesn't really lend itself to anything super cool. Anytime I can like see my hair or there's like a huge dip line in the armor set, it's gonna kind of give me the ick a little bit. I like when the armor goes all the way up the neck, so it looks like you're protected. You can't just take like a straight arrow to the neck and your head's gone and you're dead. Honestly, for this set, I'm gonna go D tier with that set for now. Definitely D tier. I'd say I might sort through these once I get them all on board and jockey them around a little bit to see, but without further ado, we got to keep on pushing. Now, the Ulduar set I think is pretty cool. I really like the design choice. They actually have some really cool spalders. They have the holy symbols kind of floating above these like metal, like holy molten things, and it really was the Ulduar aesthetic. Now, the helmet itself, I think was sick. I'm just like, oh man, this is a pure holy warrior. I love the fact that it's like covering the whole face. You have the thing up top. I think they did a really sick job actually putting that all together like that. I think that this set be at least in the high A tier for now. I really love the vibe of it. It matched the raid really well. And overall, I think it just looks sick. Very holy, very armored up, very paladin-esque. Can't beat that. Oh man. God. The Trial of Crusader sets. I don't know what there is to really say about these, except they're just totally dog shit. At least the Horde one that I was wearing, absolutely ass. This is D tier by far. And you know what? Seeing this set makes me want to move up the next set to C tier. So yeah, that makes more sense. That set is just freaking trash, honestly. But the Alliance one, I don't think was that much better either. I think it's the low end to C. It was pretty lackluster. There wasn't a whole lot going on. There was nothing tying it. There was nothing tying these sets to anything in particular. And honestly, I probably won't be doing any tier sets that aren't actually specific to the character anymore. I just wanted to put these out there. These suck. Whoever designed these, hopefully that they got demoted, honestly, because these are just absolutely the worst things. I don't know, because since they were designing it for multiple classes, I don't know if they were just trying to like pile all the classes into one to make it look like something. Look at this face guard. This is just like a ripoff of the Brutal Gladiator's warrior helmet. I don't know what they thought they were doing. It looks stupid. There's no protection under here or up the back again, which is just commonplace for all these sets back then. And then these spalders, they just look like ass. Like, what is that? The spikes? Is it supposed to be like a tortoise? Or is it just like, yeah, we're badass plate characters, so we have no ideas, let's just add some spikes. All the plate wearers like spikes. No, it just looks like a crappy warrior leveling set, honestly. The Ice Crown Citadel tier set. They actually decided to go back to making things that weren't totally dog. Now, this one's pretty cool. I do like the spalders again, are like the carrying factor for a lot of these sets. You look really close, it's like a broken skull, and you got the flames / holy energy kind of like pouring through the skull. I think that's really sick. The helmet's pretty cool too. I like how they have like an open face guard with a skull with also coming through. It would have been cool if the face mask was actually down covering your face though. That would have been so much better looking. You could see that you'd have like the skull face, because it's actually really hard to see unless you're looking at it from a specific angle what's going on. It looks like you're not ready for battle. You're there killing the Lich King, but you don't have your face plate down to cover your face. Kind of silly, kind of dumb. Overall, pretty decent. I would say this set be like a solid B. Solid B. Shoulders are pretty cool. I like the robes on Paladins, honestly, for the sets. So that gives it a little bit of leeway, but overall, I think there's a lot left to be desired. I like how that goes through the shoulders too as well, with the like the glyph wrapping. Good middle of the road set. Nothing crazy, not too crappy, but middle of the road. Then we have the Bastion of Twilight set. This one, to me, I hate this set. I don't know whether it's just like the angles, the aesthetic to it, just the whole thing in general just looks blah. I don't like the tall helmet. The helmet's just way too tall. Like it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It just looks like, yeah, it looks like stony and earthy, and I get it, Cataclysm, like the earth's getting torn apart and stuff like that. The spalders don't really scream holy. Like they could almost be like a shaman set, maybe, in a weird way. I mean, the color palette doesn't lend it to that, but like the way it's like broken rocks and everything. I get it for the expansion at the time, but I think it looks like crap. Honestly, not good. I would never transmog this, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone use any of these pieces to transmog that as well. You are going to the D tier, but still above the TFC armor. Ooh. What do we have here? Now, this Fireland set, I think, is freaking sick. It really puts off like the fiery zealot, like the fiery holy ret paladin style vibe. Like we're gonna burn away all the corruption. This is like the quintessential like fire essence, exorcism, just like burn away the infidels type set. I really love the shoulders. I love how they're smoking and just on fire. The Fireland sets in general were all pretty sick, and I think this is one of the better ones. And I love how the helmet is large. It's a sick faceplate, kind of reminiscent of like the tier 2 set where it's just a full face cover. I think they should do more of those. And also the floating piece in the back, which kind of like ties it back into the Firelands raid. And also it just looks cool. Adding extra stuff just floating around, I think makes the set look awesome, and it's different because of that. So since that's the case, I'm going to put this one in the S tier for now. I think I'm going to put it right below the Judgment set, actually. This set was awesome to get, and I think a lot of people like to transmog this, hence the Firelands Andes. Despite a lot of people wanting to mod it, it was modded a lot for a reason, and that's why it's going in the S tier for me. Alright, now we have the Dragon Soul set. This one in particular, it's like nothing really stands out, like it's not a bad set by any means. Nothing really screams, really tough to say. There's nothing that stands out too much. I like the spoilers, I like the angelic feathers on it. I like the helmet, it's got the feathers and that kind of like angelic holy angel vibe carried through it as well. It seems like it's lacking something else as well. Like this could have been so much cooler, especially after having the floating back plate from this set. To go to that one to this one and not have like extra flair on it, I think it really hinders its performance. I'm gonna say B tier for this set. It has some potential. I could see maybe mogging the helmet or shoulders, but the rest of it's kind of a throwaway. Yeah, it's okay. It's decent. It's decent. I'm happy with that. All right, now we are going to be crossing the seas to Pandaria. Now for this set, now I do really like the spoilers on this one as well, and I think that's going to be, as you can see, the trend for a lot of these Paladin sets. The shoulders really carry almost the whole set, but the issue is if you don't have good spoilers and a good helm and kind of the rest of the set's a really good vibe, it's really hard to get it out of like an A or B. This one, the tigers, super sick. They're kind of spitting out like fire and holy light, but the helmet itself, like, yeah, I understand they're going for like the tiger. There's like this slick back like look to the hair, almost like it's like a tiger going fast or something. There's really nothing else going on with the helm. It's pretty boring. It kind of just looks like a greaser who slicked back their hair. And the only really saving grace for this set is the actual balders that look sick, the tigers on the side. Now, because of that, I think that's, I'll give it in the B tier for now. B tier for now, just because the spoilers are so sick. If the spoilers were a little less good, C tier or possibly even D tier, I think, for that set. And then we have the Throne of Thunder set. This set sucks. It's annoying to look at. It's a bunch of electricity. Yeah, I guess I get the theme of the whole, you know, Isle of Thunder was like lightning, the Thunder King. Throne of Thunder set is just stupid. This is by far one of these worst looking helms in the entire game for a tier set. Retarded looking. It is ridiculous looking. Look, it just looks like a lopsided, like fluffy alien head or something like that. Like you can't really tell. It just looks like it's an elongated, I don't even know what to say about it. It just looks stupid. Shoulders, there's nothing about them. They're just like, let's just put some metal things around here. Then we'll have some lightning looking vibes shoot through the shoulders. It doesn't help. It doesn't save anything. It looks lame. They could have done something so much more sicker with the lightning elements and still had like a paladin set tied into it. This is just pretty lackluster. Yeah, the belt at least has some like visual effects going on it as well. Overall, I would never wear this set. It looks like garbage. I think that one's going straight into the D tier for now. One step above the TOC set. Sucks. The set sucks. Sorry if you like it, but dude, bleh. Look at that helmet. Nasty. Stupid as hell. Now we have the Siege of Orgrimmar tier sets. Now this one, they have some really cool color palette choices on these versions. I think that the shoulders with the scroll and like the cool red like wings coming off it are really sick. Got a lot of detail for being how like small and subtle they are. And then you have the helm. Now I really like the details on the helm as well and how it also mirrors those colors of feathers. The helm though, it's like almost like too big and kind of derpy on the front, or like cyclopsy. Like I think if they made the face mask a bit more cool and not just like one line, I think the cyclopsy look is more like a warrior type vibe. I don't think it really fits the paladin vibe very well. And there's also no cool looking feather aesthetics on the whole rest of the set. Like there's nothing for the boots, the gloves. There's like a little bit of coloring on the bottom to match that, but it almost looks like the shoulders and the helm are from a completely different set outside from a couple things. They brought all those elements elements into the rest of the whole thing, like put some glowy feathers on the robe, I think it would have been a lot sicker. Overall, it's like pretty mid set as well. I would have to say that's also gonna go into the B tier for me. Slightly less good as the ICC one, I think, for now, but I think that's a pretty good spot. Now, the Black Rock Foundry set. This one is kind of like a hidden gem. I think a lot of people don't realize how sick this set actually is, because it has the moving shoulders, as you can see. They open up. It kind of reveals like some glyphs and like the floating glowing rocks. It's got very cool, very strong paladin colors. And I think the face guard on the helmet of this one is actually amazing. It's sized right. It looks badass. Like you see this guy and be like, this guy is a mofo. I would not mess with him. And the shoulders, very cool as well. The belt's cool. And I think this was around the time they started adding more effects to the belts as well. Actually, some jiggle physics. Let's go. And I would actually, if they made like an updated version of this type of tier set, I think I would totally mog it once in a while. It's pretty neat. I think this one is very good, honestly. Kind of a sleeper set, but honestly, I'd give this one an A. I like this one a lot. I like the detail. I like the overlapping plate. I think it's nice. The face guard is sick. And then the rest of it is pretty decent as well. It's tied in fairly good. Look at that with the cool shoulders. Boom. Mighty Morphin Pally Ranger, baby. Let's go. Now we have the Hellfire Citadel set. Now, I don't know what they were thinking when they designed this set. The helmet is pretty sick, standalone as a thing. It almost looked like it has this corrupted, like, holy aura around the helmet. But the rest of the set is absolutely dog shit. Like, look at these shoulders. Like, what is the point of these? They look stupid. They're just these, like, little wiggly arm things. They look like there's, like, windshield wipers. Nothing about that is Paladin, or this is supposed to be like corrupted spike shoulder things. They don't even really match the helmet at all as far as aesthetic or vibe. The only thing good about this is the helm. The rest of the set is throwaway, total garbage. It looks like it's a dungeon leveling set. I don't know what they were thinking when they thought this would be okay. Leave the final design as. It looks like someone designed the helmet and then they got fired or something, and then they just hired an intern to do the rest of the set or something. To the D tier with you as well, for now. Sorry if you like the helm, but the rest of the set, trash. Absolutely trash. Alright, now we're starting to get to some of the more modern looking sets with the Legion expansion. Now this is the Nighthold set here. Overall, I love the aesthetic for this one. I love the layering of the armor with the robe, and I love the tie-in of the Paladin elements as well with the cool, like a Judgment-esque looking helmet. That is one of the sickest helmets in the game, in my opinion. It's almost like they learned and took some inspiration from the tier 2. And it also has some really cool elements with the shoulders. It has like these hovering kind of like holy discs. It almost looks like the holy discs that is in the Ashbringer that's kind of locked into that sword. And it's one of the first times they actually had like the armor plating kind of coming off the sides, which give it more of like a 3D aesthetic and actually gives some more layering in the armor. Now, the older sets, I didn't really try to punish them for that at all, but now going forward, having the different layers and different elements, I'm going to be taking that into account. But overall, I think this set, this is the Mythic version, I think it's awesome. Honestly, I think this one is either high A or low S tier. I think S tier. I think S tier for that, honestly. I think it's just an overall super solid set. The shoulders look good, the body looks good, the helm looks awesome, it's got the Paladin vibe with it. I think they nailed it. All right, now we have the Tomb of Sargeras set. Now, as you can see, this is a big, nice, chunky boy. And as a Warcraft enjoyer, as well as a Paladin enjoyer, I do like me some chunky boys in my Warcraft, okay? I think that chunky armor aesthetic is one of the core Warcraft aesthetics, and I think they nailed it here. I love that they made the plate character actually seem like it's wearing something heavy, and like it's wearing plate. It's not like they just gave it some cloth and it's like, it's plate because we say it's plate. Like, no, you can look at this character visually and see he is well armored and he's plated up and he's gonna be hard to take down. You have the like Libram and this, like the hammer just absolutely busting out of the set. I think that adds such a cool aesthetic. It's almost like can't contain that holy power, kind of like a reimagining of the Black Temple set. And I gave that set an S tier because for the time that set was like giving a similar vibe. Honestly, I think this one goes right below the Judgment set for me. I think they nailed the Paladin aesthetic. They added awesome 3D elements. They made you a big chunky boy. There's really nothing that I don't, well, actually there's something I slightly don't like. The helmet is a little off for me. It's like there's a little bit too much going on with the crown, but I think that can be forgiven in the wake of everything else going on that ties it together. Like just like the drapery underneath the spalders, the drapery coming off the belt and adding to the boots. Chef's kiss. This one's good. Yeah, S tier. I think that's where it's gonna stay. And Taurus the Burning Throne. This one's an interesting one for me. It is definitely a sick looking set, and also they did add some pretty chunky elements, especially on the boots, but they didn't really carry that over in the gloves. But what I do like and what they did with the gloves is add these kind of like sharp armored talons. But the gloves look a little small compared to how big the boots are. So it's like you're wearing these huge shit stompers, but the gloves themselves don't match. The pauldrons are a little bit small as well. I think they're kind of cool. I don't think there's anything too fancy about the pauldrons themselves, honestly. And the helm is neat, but also got that weird like elongated vibe going off it. I think I almost would have liked it better if it didn't have this extra layer of stuff kind of like wrapping around so close to the helm. It almost looks a bit too tall. That's just more of a personal thing for me. And then the spaulders aren't anything too wild. So I think this is like a solid B tier set. I think it's the top of the B tier because I do like some of the heavy armor elements on it, and I do like the spike fingers. There's nothing like too outstanding with this one in particular. Now in hindsight, I'm skipping all the Battle for Azeroth tier sets because they were just a bunch of random crap they threw together for all the stuff similar to the TOC sets. Overall, they're kind of whatever. I don't think none of them actually really fit the Paladin aesthetic. So we are just gonna skip on by those. And the same thing happened for a majority of the patches in Shadowlands. They just did homogenized sets. The plate ones, yeah, they look like okay for the plate classes. These are kind of like silly looking. I guess they were trying to match the like aesthetic vibe of Castle Nathria and like make all the classes feel good with it. But I think they failed on every single one of those. You know, you try to appease everyone and you end up just not making anyone happy. That's the perfect example of it right there. But then they finally came back to their senses and they actually came out with some really sick sets for the Sepulchre of the first ones. This set I think is really awesome. It has a great Paladin vibe. I love the layers of the armor. It's very sleek, it's very clean. You know, it's kind of regal and fancy without being super jagged, super bulky, super in your face. But it has some really just clean vibes, clean aesthetics, and clean armor. I'm a sucker for those type of face guards, I think, as are most paladins. I like the color choice for the armor itself, this kind of like gold. I really dig the like solid metal boots. Like you can still tell, despite the robe, that this is a armored up paladin and not just like a person in a dress. Get some extra bonus points too as well for these little floating bits on the back. They give some extra depth to the character. If the spaulders didn't have these extra floaty bits, I think the set overall would have just fallen totally flat. If you kind of imagine the set without those floating there, it just looks super boxy, like he's wearing like football pads, and there's nothing to really break that up, and he just looks kind of meh. But as a whole, I think it works out pretty decent. I would say this is like a solid, I'll give this like a solid low A. Like there's some pretty decent redeeming elements. I think the color palette is sick on it too. Overall, that works out pretty good. All right, now we have the Vault of the Incarnates from Dragonflight. This set gives me some mixed opinions on it as well. I think overall it's a pretty well executed set. Everything ties together super well. It's super layered. There's a lot going on with it. I like how it has a lot of, you know, glowy bits. It's almost like the energy is coursing through the armor as well if you look around the back and kind of shooting out the gloves. I love the kind of like holy glyphs that hang down from the ribbons off the spaulders, but the spaulders are kind of funky. They kind of look just like a weird bird or something, like a bird's mouth. Like, and I get they were trying to like model this off the incarnate, kind of like stupid in my opinion. And then the helmet itself, interesting in concept. I like the bulkiness to it in a way. It's almost like too bulky in the back though, the rock sticking up way too far. And then there's really nothing going around with the helmet itself. It just kind of looks like you're wearing like a rock. Like he kind of looks like Juggernaut from X-Men, not jacked, so you can see his little beady eyes peering through. It's not like a bad set or anything. It doesn't really scream Paladin all that much. And I know they're trying to model it off the vibe of the instance a little bit more in this one. At the same time, I don't think they really nailed it. While not a horrible set, and while not an amazing set, I think this one would be in like another solid B. I'll put it like right in the middle of B. I think that's a good place for it. Not bad. I think it's a cool vibe. It's just not super Paladin-y, and the helmet and spaulders are a little wonky. Like that is chunky though. Ooh, yeah. Aberrus, the Shadowed Crucible. This set is white. Amazing in my opinion. It is pretty much all the Paladin vibe and aesthetic boiled down into like a single set. Not really trying to be anything crazy. It does have the dragon vibes, which is fine, but I like how it has all the layered elements. I like how it looks bulky and armored, And I'm always happy whenever they give the Paladin dress treatment to the Paladin tier sets. I think that you don't have to have it with every tier set. It's nice maybe to alternate, but that is like the Paladin staple, is to have that type of plate dress that just like covers your whole body, that makes you look like that holy warrior and gives that holy warrior vibe. This one, I love the fact that the armor is super armored on the chest. It's bulky and it comes up and it covers the neckline, which I think is super important for a lot of armor sets. Anything that stops below the neckline, it just feels a little weird and silly, because why would you have such heavy armor and then just have your whole like neck exposed during combat? It seems really silly. I like the spalders. There's nothing too crazy going on with these, but I also like the helm as well. I think the helm is really cool, and they actually did a good job with the horns, kind of wrapping them around. You kind of just look like a holy warrior dragon slayer. I think that actually screams Paladin. It almost looks like a Diablo style Paladin as well. Really cool, really bulky, super armored up, and overall, I think this belongs in low S tier. I think that's a good spot for it. It really hits all the elements, makes you bulky, you feel armored up, and it just looks clean and it looks sick. Very cool set. Then we have the Amirdrasil set. I don't really know what they were going for with this. Like, this doesn't have any single aesthetic. It like they just threw it together a bunch of crap and were like, yep, looks like plate to me. Then we'll just throw some swords on the spalders and now it's a paladin, I guess, because that's just the thing. And while the spalders are sick, the rest of the set is just spoiled by the fact of how cool the spalders look, because the rest of the set just looks like doo-doo. Like this helmet, what it's supposed to look like a crown and a king, it just looks like a freaking like tin can. I don't even know. There's nothing cool about it. I like that they put like the face guard here. The rest of the armor, it has like these weird spikes like the boots. It has like spikes on the side, but they're not mirrored. I don't really know what they were going for at all. Cool shoulders. The shoulders themselves are S tier, or could be, but with the rest of the set is just so bad. Especially this late in World of Warcraft, where you could do some other cool elements. I think it gets absolutely dragged down. This set, shoot, I want to say D tier. Yeah, I'm gonna say the best set in D tier, and that's only because the swords on the spalders. I'm just a sucker for swords. That's the only saving grace of the set. If this had those not on there, this would just look like a leveling dungeon set. Total trash. Wouldn't even be mentioned, but yeah, that's a solid spot. D tier for you, boy. Alright, so we have the Nerubar Palace set. Now, I wasn't too sure how I felt about this one when it was first released, but I think it grew on me a little bit. I think the helm was a little kind of funky. Maybe it's just because it looks like it doesn't, like it has low eyes or something. It's just really hard to see. The legs aren't super bulky either, and I wish they did more with the ribbons to tie it into the boots and made the boots slightly more bulky as well. I think the elements on the back are pretty sick. Like, I really like the wings. Flappy wings, really sick. Helmet, pretty cool. I think the chest piece looks amazing as well. The fact that it comes up and is actually protecting you, but it's going for like an elegance, and I think it could use just a little more bulk. Like the wings, like I said, maybe they could have tied in that more into the rest of the set as well. It's just stick off so much, it just kind of looks a little funny. Not a bad set by any means. Not a bad set. Some good elements to it. It's like a high B for me. Yeah, I'd say that's a good spot for it. High B. Liberation of Undermine set. Now this set is pretty cool overall. I'm actually gonna go look at the normal set for now. I think the coloration on the normal set's the best, honestly, of all these. You got the gold, the white. They nailed the bulkiness of the set. I like that. I think the legs could be slightly more bulky looking, maybe with the waistband. I like the gloves. I like how they added the lion elements to the gloves for the bulk. And I also like the shoulders just being these like winged griffin looking guys, and you have like fire kind of coming out of the mouth. I like how big and heavy the set is too, with the chest piece with the metal wrapping around the whole neck. Like I said, I love to see that on sets, and I think they should all have some variant of that type of neck protection. Whole set tied together with the helm, I think looks very sick. Very regal, very just knight, and it looks very just paladin, okay? It's almost leading towards like, obviously human paladin with like the lions and the griffins and all the angelic stuff, which is fine though. And overall, I think this set is really sick. Is it quite S tier though? I think this is also an S tier set. There's nothing about it where I hate anything of it. Love the spalders, love those animals looking sick, and I love the helm. They did a great job with that. Love the chest piece, love the bulky, pointy boots. There's really nothing I would dislike about this set. I think S tier is a solid pick. low S tier for now. Mana Forge Omega set, the last set that was released into the game right now. My opinion on this one might be a little controversial. I know I was talking about the bulk the whole time, and this is carried out super well. And I do like the armored horses' heads on the side. They have glowing eyes, they're exuding this kind of like holy, like strong energy. But my main problem with this set, I think, is the fact that it lacks any sort of chest guard. Like, you have all this, like, one of the sickest like waist and boot combos in the game with this one, where it's super bulky, then it kind of comes down with these folds. Up on the chest, there's really nothing going on there, and then the helmet kind of looks cool at first glance. Has that exposed neck going, which I think is really ugly, and it's almost like too big. Like, there's almost too much going on with the helm. I know they were kind of going for like a Spartan or like Roman centurion thing, like this huge to do. It's like the mane of the horse, like I get that, but I feel like it's just a bit too tall. It should be lower, should cover more, and then the hair could be a slightly bit lower. Then the hair could like come down and be like the hair of the person, or of the horse's hair, as opposed to being up so high. It just kind of looks like a silly mohawk. So the helm actually kind of doesn't ruin it for me, but the helm kind of definitely knocks some points off to it, where I think it otherwise, if it had a sick helm, I think it definitely could be an S tier contender. But for now, I would say this is a strong top of A tier. Now that's it for the current official tier list. Now we do have this set that's going to be coming with the launch of Midnight, and I think I'm going to be doing like a bunch of tier set reviews for the new sets as well, so that's going to be a different video. But just judging from this new set, when you look at it, you can see it has a lot of those things that I absolutely love and wished I saw in more of the older sets. It's got huge bulky parts, it's got a sick chest guard, it's got an awesome helmet that's not like overbearing and in your face. It has glowy bits, it's got a lot of detail. For example, on the shoulders, she's like crying holy light. That's gonna be for a separate video. I'll be super excited to look through all the class tier sets for that as well. And remember, this is all just personal and aesthetic choices. You know, if I made this tier list, say tomorrow, my opinion might have changed on a few sets, but this is what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling pretty solid about where I put everything. And remember, this is all just personal opinion. Everyone might have different opinions on the set. Maybe you think the Throne of Thunder set's the best set that ever existed. You'd be totally wrong, but you're not allowed to not think that, okay? Now, if you guys like these sort of tier set reviews, just smash that subscribe button. I think I'm gonna try to do one for every single class. I can't believe that it's been damn near over 20 years now. Like, where's time going? I'm getting gray hairs. What's going on here? Do you agree or disagree with any of my tier set rankings? If you do, feel free to let me know in the comments. And without further ado, I've been Rivendare. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.